I want everybody out there to see the pain that this family has endured. Because you, Justin, and your family have not come forth and said anything. You haven't done.
When Justin woke up on the morning of December 16, 2011, he went upstairs to check on his daughter, Ayla. But when he opened the door, he found her bed empty. His mother and sister were confused. They had seen Ayla safely tucked into bed the night before at 8 p.m. They tore through the house, hoping against hope she had simply wandered off. But Ayla was nowhere to be found. Desperation set in as they dialed 911, providing the police with a detailed description of the little girl.
Okay, how old is she?
She's only 20 months old.
What is her height and her weight?
2 feet 9 inches tall and about 30 pounds.
Eyes and hair color?
Blonde hair and blue eyes.
Any distinguishing features?
Her left arm is in a sling with a soft cast.
And what was she wearing the last time you saw her?
She was wearing green onesie pajamas with white polka dots and Daddy's Princess written on the front. Ayla's mother, Trista, had been struggling with addiction issues. Determined to get clean and provide a better life for her daughter, she had checked herself into rehab. During this time, Ayla was placed in Justin's custody, a decision made just a couple of months before that fateful December morning. Justin lived with his mother, sister, girlfriend, and his girlfriend's 2 children in his mother's house. Allegedly, Child Protective Services had not conducted a home visit to assess the living conditions before placing Ayla with Justin. Trista was fighting to regain custody of Ayla. She had even checked herself out of rehab early, desperate to see her daughter. However, Justin, who had not been very involved in Ayla's life before this, was now determined to keep Ayla away from Trista. The battle over Ayla's custody created a storm of emotions and uncertainty, casting a shadow over the family's lives. Ayla's broken arm was a source of deep concern. Justin claimed that he had been carrying her and he tripped on the stairs. He said he fell on top of her, causing the injury. However, Trista and her family had their doubts about this explanation. Desperate to maintain contact with her daughter, Trista repeatedly reached out to Justin, trying to speak to Ayla. Trista said that Justin would assure her that Ayla was completely fine, that she was just watching a movie so she couldn't talk. Despite her persistent efforts, Trista had been unable to see or talk to Ayla for weeks. Then the unthinkable happened. Trista received a call from her father, delivering the devastating news that Ayla was missing. The police began their search immediately, starting with the house and then expanding to the areas around it. They meticulously combed through every corner, hoping to find any clue that could lead them to Ayla. As the search area widened, divers were even sent into the nearby waterways, leaving no stone unturned. Justin and his family claimed that Ayla had been abducted, but the police were skeptical. They believed that the people in the house that night knew more than they were letting on. Despite their suspicions, the police had no leads, leaving everyone frustrated and desperate for answers.
It's highly unlikely that Ayla Reynolds will be found alive. Nothing points in that direction.
Days turned into weeks, and the hope of finding Ayla alive began to diminish. As the weeks passed, Justin went silent, refusing to answer any questions from the media. His silence only fueled the public's suspicions. The police suspected foul play but refrained from naming any suspects. The search of the home revealed disturbing evidence. Trista claims that the police shared this evidence with her. She says it shows that Ayla's blood was found on her bed, her favorite doll, her car seat, and all over the basement where Justin had been sleeping that night. That it was even on Justin's shoes. Despite these findings, the police still did not name any suspects, and Ayla remained missing. Adding to Trista's concerns, it was discovered that just 3 days before Ayla disappeared, Justin had taken out a $10,000 insurance policy on her. Given that everyone in the house had lived there for some time, Their fingerprints were everywhere, making it impossible to piece together a clear story. The amount of blood found was enough to know that something awful had happened. But since the police were unable to locate Ayla, it meant there was no DNA evidence to conclusively determine the full picture. Justin even took a polygraph test and passed it, complicating the case further. Months became years, and Ayla's disappearance remained a haunting mystery. Every year on Ayla's birthday and the anniversary of her disappearance, her family made public pleas for information. They did everything they could to keep her case in the spotlight, hoping that someone, somewhere, might come forward with a crucial piece of information that could finally bring them answers. Then Justin had to appear in court for alleged domestic abuse against his girlfriend. When he showed up, Trista was there, waiting to confront him. She begged him to tell her what had happened to Ayla, pleading with him to look her in the eye and tell her that he didn't do anything to their daughter. Instead of responding, Justin physically ran away from her, leaving Trista and everyone else with more questions than answers.
Justin, stop. Justin, we share a dog together. Do you remember this? Justin! What'd you do with it? You wouldn't run!
Justin, he's a murderer. He killed my granddaughter. All the evidence is right there in that house. With all the evidence that my daughter has come out and said, and probably more that the state police has, honestly, are we not supposed to feel like this? Are we not supposed to hurt every day? We all miss Ayla every day. Every day.
No, I want them to pay for what they did to Ayla. Like there is no reason for her to be taken from me. There was no reason for Ayla to be removed from my sister's care. There was no reason for any of it.
Ayla was declared legally dead in 2017, with the court going on record that she had died around the time she was reported missing. In December 2018, 7 years after her disappearance, Trista filed a wrongful death suit against Justin. She knew that Justin didn't have any assets, so the suit wasn't about monetary damages. Instead, Trista's real goal was to get answers about what happened to Ayla and to recover her body. At first, Justin was nowhere to be found to be served in the civil suit, and no one knew where he was. Eventually, he was located in California and served. Justin made several claims in his defense. He asserted that the blood found in the house was from that one time when Ayla was sick. He did admit that he had failed to get treatment the night Ayla broke her arm. He denied that she was crying and running away from him the night he took custody of her, even though it was reported by a police officer that was present that night. Both Justin and his family maintain that they know nothing about what happened to Ayla, always insisting they believe she was abducted in the middle of the night.
Initially, the first few days, I was emotionally incapable of coming out to do an interview, and I had been advised that by coming on and doing an interview by law enforcement that it could possibly hinder the investigation, and I'm here to help in any way I can.
They even suggested that Trista might be somehow involved.
My daughter's Ayla, your granddaughter.
Why don't you tell us what you did with her,
Why
Trista?
don't you tell me? No, you know what, Phoebe?
Do not grab
No,
me.
tell me. No, Phoebe, you tell
Do
me
not
what you did
touch
with my
me,
daughter. Tell me what you did with my daughter.
Tell us what you did with her.
However, the Maine State Police had a different perspective. They stated, quote, "Investigators have ruled out any possibility that Ayla left the house on her own or that she was abducted, and the adults who were in the home are withholding information."
What we have been told is obviously someone came into that home, grabbed Ayla, and vanished in the middle of the night. But at this point, we have not found one piece of evidence to back that up.
Now, every person in the house that night was a potential suspect.
We have 3 adults inside that home that night, and we don't think we're getting the full story as to what happened. We think they know more than they're telling us.
In 2002, Trista expanded the lawsuit to include Justin's mother and sister, alleging new evidence suggested a cleanup attempt had been made. On September 5, 2024, the lawsuit was settled. The specific terms of the settlement remain confidential, and an agreement prevents the parties from discussing the details. The lawyer representing Justin's mother and sister stated while they disputed the claims made in the lawsuit, they believed it was in their best interest to settle. At the time of this recording, the attorneys for Justin DiPietro and Trista Reynolds have not yet provided any comments. If you have any information that could help bring answers to Ayla's family, please contact the Maine State Police at 1-800-452-4664 or 207-624-7076. You can also leave an anonymous tip on their website at maine.gov. Any piece of information, no matter how small, could be crucial in solving this case. Let's keep Ayla's story alive and continue to seek justice for her. Remember, every wrinkle tells a story, and in the wrinkles of crime, we find the truth. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. I'd love to hear your opinions or suggestions in the comments. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for our next video, and we'll explore another story hidden within the wrinkles in crime.